What's going on, everyone? Welcome to the 5 O'Clock Sweats podcast. As always, I am one of your hosts, Chris, joined by...
Ryan.
And Derek.
So, guys, we got to talk about something. I was literally having this conversation with a coworker the other day, and I was like, this is going to be the topic of tonight's episode. So, we were talking about, like, movies and games, and then we ended up kind of on the subject of like memorable characters, both in movies, games, or we can even open it up to like TV shows. So I kind of wanted to discuss that a little bit. I know that for me, when I was talking to this coworker, the one that came to mind for me was a movie character, and I think it was probably because this is one of the most recent movies I saw, and also one of my favorite film franchises. And of course, I'm a fan of the actor, but John Wick, right?
Oh, yeah.
I think there's something to be said when, like, the character's name is the title of the movie. Kind of my reasoning, when I was talking about John Wick in terms of, like, being memorable is just the fact that for me, like, John Wick, the character, kind of has, like, sort of like changed the action movie landscape for me. And I think it has for like movies in general. But I just know that like I've not, I grew up watching action movies, but I've not seen like characters that kind of, I don't know, the character literally embodies like the movie, right? I mean, obviously in the title and the name, but it's just like, I don't know, the training that like Keanu Reeves put into it, and then like the way he kind of plays the character, I can't really explain it, but it's just like he's definitely a memorable character, and like probably in my top 5 for movies of all time. But yeah, I don't know. What did you guys kind of think?
So I think that because of his training, and he did like all his own stunts and everything, right?
Yeah.
Like all the gun scenes he did for real. He really shot those people. No,
those people are dead.
Like he was just so good at it that it comes off like as the character. So John Wick, the person, is just so like effortlessly and like casually cool with like everything he does. Now, granted, I've only seen the first one. He might fall apart after that, but
no, he keeps it up.
Yeah.
He gets even more badass.
Damn.
And I think what's kind of interesting too about that character is there's few characters that exist in like movies where like the character becomes like the actor and vice versa, where like I actually feel like that is probably how Keanu Reeves is.
Oh my God, yeah.
When he's not playing that character, right? Like the way he walks, the way he runs, like I know, Ryan, you saw 4 with me, but like even when he's like running and hurt, like there's a very Keanu like kind of like gait to the way he walks and the way he runs. There's like a whole bunch of TikToks that are like
he's got a
people
limp
kind of
run.
like exactly. It's like a very, I don't know, it's just like an awkward gait, but like it blurs that line of like character and actor. It's like it's cool. I don't know. So do you guys have any other characters that you can think of that sort of kind of match that like ability to be like so memorable?
Well, really quick, like I don't like before we move off of John Wick, like I think it's impressive that we find him, like as the viewer, we find him so relatable, and he barely says any lines. Like he probably says maybe like 1,000 words throughout all of the movies. But he's just like a guy who's like at the end he just wants to like relax, enjoy retirement, and then his whole life gets messed up, and is. By the way, spoiler alert for every movie we talk about probably tonight.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that makes sense.
Sorry. Well, I'm only going to spoil the first one, which you've seen. Right. But his dog gets killed, and like, come on, like, what rational person isn't going to want to go on a killing spree and find the people who were responsible after that? So, in that sense, he's very relatable, and even though he doesn't say a lot of lines in his movies, like his motivations are relatable, and you're rooting for him.
I actually think, and I don't know this to be fact, but I think his character, as the movies progress, like 1 through 4, I think they intentionally give him less dialogue, and obviously insert more, like we said in a previous episode, gun fu, which is what it's what the viewers want, right? But I think it's like there's kind of like a comedic play to that too, where it's just like he's got these one-liners and like I don't know, they're not great, but
dude, nobody delivers a one-liner better than Keanu Reeves.
Yeah.
Just like what's the end of the third movie where the guy asks him like, "Do you want revenge?" and he's like, "Yes." And the build up to him saying that line is so big. Or is it 2 or 3? I think
he basically says like he goes like, "Are you pissed?" And he goes, "Yeah, I'm pissed."
Yeah. I don't know if he says, "Yeah, I'm pissed." I think he just says, "Yeah."
I don't know. It's like something to that effect.
But nobody says "yeah" cooler than Keanu Reeves.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, so I'll kind of pass it off to you guys, but are there any other characters that we can sort of put up on a list kind of like that?
Yeah, I mean, for me, and I think this is like one of the most iconic characters in the 21st century, but I mean, Captain Jack Sparrow, Johnny Depp.
Ooh.
Pirates of the Caribbean, like this character is iconic, and even to this day, he's just like one of the best characters ever written and ever produced, and one of the best performances. Like Johnny Depp has done a lot in his career, but like I think everyone thinks of Captain Jack Sparrow first when you think of Johnny Depp, unless you think of it, unless you're like a big Edward Scissorhands fan. But anyway, so. Just like, and I haven't seen this movie in a while, but I really want to go back and rewatch it. I think it just released back in theaters recently, because it was like the anniversary or whatever for it. But I was watching someone who had rewatched it and they like reviewed it and they just like gushed over it. But the scene, like the introduction to his character, is so good, and it just tells you everything you need to know about him. Like the epic music is bubbling up. He's on like the crow's nest, like looking all you see the background, like the wind's blowing through his hat, his hair, the feather in his cap, and he just looks like such a badass. And then all of a sudden it pans out and he's on this tiny ass ship. I can't even call it a ship. It's a little dinky boat, and it's like it's sinking. It's like it's like he's like having to like bucket water out, and then this next shot is like him arriving to the deck, and he's like his ship is underwater and he's just still on top of the crow's nest, and he just jumps off and the ship is completely sunk at that point. And just from that alone, like that's all you really need to know about the character. Like he is badass, but he's also just like he doesn't take himself too seriously. He's funny.
It's a carefree swashbuckling pilot.
Yeah.
Not pilot.
But he's not like a fool. Like he's actually like he's pretty witty and intelligent. So yeah, I think I would throw him right in there with, one of the most iconic movie characters, especially in the last like 20 years. He's incredible.
I think what I liked about Jack Sparrow the most is like the mannerisms, right? Like there's an air about him, aside from like, his dialogue and everything he does. Just like if you just watch those movies, like even if like the movie had no audio, right? There's so much to that part that's just like, mannerisms, the way he walks, like how he uses his hands, and just like the kind of like fumbling sometimes. And I don't know, it's like, very creative, but it's definitely like, you can tell that like Johnny Depp had to develop that side of things even like before all the other stuff. So I can kind of appreciate like a character that's got a lot of dimension. And I think, Jack Sparrow definitely lands there.
Yeah.
Oh definitely. Yeah, it's very good. The mannerisms, the body language, like that, and the voice, like it all just fits together with that character. Like chef's kiss.
But
go ahead.
Like kind of like John Wick though, like that's another character where like it sort of blurs the line. Like I sort of feel like Johnny Depp is Jack Sparrow. You know what I mean? Like I could totally see him like speaking and walking and his mannerisms being that way. outside of just playing the character. So maybe there's a theme here where the actor does just such a good job of being themselves. It almost seems, you know.
Oh yeah, I mean obviously they wrote his dialogue. I'm sure there was some improvisation there, but like the mannerisms you talked about, like I'm sure that's all depth, just like knowing what kind of vibe he wants to bring to this character. Just so brilliant, and he's definitely just like playing himself. I also thought about this, like, does Johnny Depp ever do like an accent or anything like in a movie, or is that how he sounds? Like this, I don't even know. I haven't seen a lot of Johnny Depp interviews or anything. Like I think he just sounds like that all the time, like the way he talks in those movies.
He does, like his voice sounds that way. But what I think he did for for Jack Sparrow's character is it's like like the cadence you can hear. It's kind of like slower, and it's almost like I don't know if I saw this in an interview, but he's kind of replicating like being intoxicated.
Yeah, he's just a pirate drunk on rum.
Exactly, but like that's like his whole like thing. So I think that's kind of what it is. He sort of slows it down and draws it out a little bit more like kind of fumbly. But as far as I know, I think that's like his voice.
Where's the rum gone? Yeah. Derick, what about you?
Yeah, so when we came up with this idea, I don't know why, but the very first character that came to mind was a Mr. Damon Macready, better known as Big Daddy from Kick-Ass.
Oh my god.
Yeah, that's Nicolas Cage's character. I took notes on why I think some of these characters should be on this list, and the only note that I have here is fucking sick. So discuss.
Dude, it's so funny you mentioned that. I literally just watched Kick-Ass less than a week ago, and
I haven't seen it in years.
Dude, it holds up. And there's also like a lot, like Aaron Taylor Johnson's in it, obviously, and he's like a big star now. But Nick Cage at that time, like, I don't remember, I forget what year it came out exactly. I think it was like 2012 or 2011, something like that.
Sounds right.
But he's just classic Nick Cage in this movie.
2010. Ooh.
Like his delivery and the way he talks like to his daughter, Hit Girl. Also, shout out Hit Girl, love her. But yeah, I agree. He's so cool. Like in the action scenes, and like I don't know if he's doing his own stunts. Like he's not doing anything crazy, but he definitely like carries that weight. He's like a knockoff Batman basically in that movie.
It's so good.
Which makes me want like a full, like an actual like Big Daddy movie where he's just basically Batman, but it's Nick Cage.
Yeah, well, so I have to say, as like someone who's a big Batman fan, I think the only person that I would allow to like be like a rip-off like budget Batman is Nicolas Cage. And like I actually had to look this up just now because I've totally forgot about that movie Kick-Ass, but like now that I'm seeing pictures, it's bringing back memories. But like my God, like the cheap Walmart yellow belt that just says BD on it.
Dude, do you remember the scene, like his big scene where they're in like the warehouse or whatever, and they're recording it, and then he just slaughters everybody, and then he shoots the camera at the end. Like, rewatching that scene now, like that scene was so badass when I first saw that movie, and then watching it again, I was like, yeah, this is still really cool. Like,
it's so cool.
Yeah,
I need to go back and watch those again. I've seen one, so there's 3, right?
I think there's only 2.
For Kick-Ass?
Yeah, I think there's only 2.
Oh, there's 2. Okay,
and I don't know if I've seen 2.
I have.
Must have.
It's okay.
Yeah, I don't think I did, but I know I've seen 1, and like I said, it was one of those movies where like, what year is this? My gosh, it's got to be like 10.
I think like 2010,
Yeah,
2011.
2010.
There's like a lot of people like McLovin's actors in it. The guy who plays Quicksilver in the new X-Men movies is in it.
Is that Evan Peters?
Yes, Evan Peters. But yeah, there's a lot of random people in that movie.
BD on the belt, bro.
It was also the scene like he's getting ready before like his like the climax of the movie, and they show him like putting on his eye black, and then he puts on like the fake the fake goatee or whatever, like the handlebar mustache, whatever you want to call it, like the this part of his mustache. It was so funny, and he just looks so serious the whole time. Nick Cage is so good.
Right, that is gold. That's gold. That is a memory that I forgot, but now I got it back. Good. I think that's a great pick. That's a great pick.
Sleeper.
Yeah, let's loop back around. Chris, you got a second one?
Yeah, so I was thinking kind of like on a different note. I don't know, maybe I just watched too many action movies, but my gosh, John McClane. So for anyone that doesn't know, John McClane, he is the main character of the Die Hard movies. And there's just something about, I don't know, like that one-man army kind of thing, right? Same thing, I guess I'm going back to John Wick even, but it's like the one-man army, like that's always memorable to me. I always root for that guy. And like in this movie, or in these movies, he's like, you know, he's that cop, but like, you know what I mean? Like he's a relatable guy, like, you know, he wants to be a family man, but like work keeps pulling him away. You know what I mean? And then like, I don't know. And then he's just like, you know, he's not a big dude. He's not like overly strong or tall or like opposing, but like he just outwits, you know, all the foes in the movies, right? Like he's up against some heavy hitters, but he's just supposed to be like some local PD guy that gets like caught up in some like pretty bad situations. But, you know, I don't know. I like that vibe. Plus, he's pretty, like, charismatic, too. You know, he, you know, like, I don't know, he's like a smooth talker. Bruce Willis kind of plays that guy in a lot of his roles back then. But, you know, I think he's an underdog, and I like that. And, of course, I don't know, the white beater with all the like the stains, running around like half the movie's barefoot, stealing weapons and stuff.
That's the worst part of that first movie.
He's like Urban Rambo.
With the glass.
Oh yeah, the bare feet on the glass.
That's the worst.
I actually, that part makes me kind of cringe. But it's always like, you know what I mean? It's like the classic, like he's like, you know, he's getting shot at and he's like pulling out a cigarette at the same time. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
he's like looking at a picture.
I gotta do it.
Yeah, like looking at a picture of his like wife or like, you know what I mean? It's like, I don't know. You can't hate that. Can't hate that.
Dude, Bruce Willis plays those characters so well. I mean, his character in Pulp Fiction is kind of the same way.
Yeah.
Like he's trying to get out. He's just like doing one last fight for the money. And then he's got his pregnant girl, his pregnant wife or girlfriend or whatever, and he's just trying to like get it, like make a good life for them by fighting, and then he gets like pulled into that whole crazy climax at the end.
Yeah, but like he's always just like he's just that average guy, because like at the end of like the movie, he, you know what I mean, like whatever, he defeats the bad guy. I'll just say to keep it kind of like generic and spoiler free, but you know, then he's like the end scene, he's like putting the quarter in the payphone. He's like, gotta call the wife. You know what I mean? It's like all in a day's work vibe. I don't know. It's like so corny, but it's the best. And I put him up there, at least for me, for like top action movie characters. Could be because my dad made me watch those movies at like 10 years old. So they're like ingrained in my mind, but good times.
I got a confession to make to our listeners that I've never seen Die Hard from start to finish, and it's a crime. It's on my list of like shame movies I haven't seen, like my list of shame when it comes to movies, and it's definitely one of them.
So, what's kind of interesting is like the Die Hard movies. It is the exact same movie on like copy and pasted, but they just insert a different stereotypical bad guy, right? Like they're always from another country and they're always just trying to take over the entire United States. Like it's very like 80s action vibes. 80s, yeah, they're 80s. I don't think they're 90s. They might be some of the more recent ones, but yeah, I don't know. You gotta watch them. You gotta watch all of them.
It's on my list. It's on my list. I gotta watch all of them.
There's like iconic actors that like Samuel L. Jackson's in one of them.
Okay.
Alan Rickman, Hans Gruber.
Oh yeah. Rest in peace, Alan Rickman.
Dang.
Oh my gosh! You know what? I didn't even put that together. It's Alan Rickman.
Yeah, he's Hans. I only know that because the only part of Die Hard I've seen is the end. and I've seen the end like 2 or 3 times because every time I see it, it's always on AMC, and every time I turn it on, it's the end. I'm like, damn it, every time.
Interesting sidebar though. Call of Duty did like a little collab there. This is like maybe back during the pandemic. I think it was like Rambo, but it was also John McClane. So he was actually a playable character in Warzone. And they put the Nakatomi Plaza, like the tower, in the Warzone map.
That's sweet.
Dude, who's Call of Duty not doing a collab with these days?
Well, yeah, well, that's a whole nother.
We'll open up that can of worms later.
Don't get me going there.
All right.
Speaking of video games, I know, Ryan, we kind of discussed this. There's got to be a video game character that fits the bill here.
Oh yeah,
I got a big old list of them.
All right, somebody step up here. I want to hear something about a video game character.
All right, well, if we're going in order, then I'll go ahead, and I'm gonna. This is a kind. I don't know if this is a surprising pick per se, but it's from my favorite gaming franchise, and if you've seen in our previous episodes, you know what I'm going to say. Halo, but it's not Master Chief. It's not the Arbiter, even though they're both great.
I'm okay.
It's not Captain Keyes, but it is the GOAT himself, Sergeant Avery Johnson.
Yeah,
I mean,
of course it is.
he just embodies like what's great about and fun about Halo and like old like 90s sci-fi. Like he's just like the stereotypical like hard-nosed sergeant, like line up, man, we're going in the battle and all that. But he's more
a good
he
impression of a
transcends
hard-nosed
that.
sergeant.
Yeah, that's what they say. That's what they all sound like. But like his like journey throughout the games, like that's what he was in Halo 1. He was that just like he was that sergeant, like that stereotypical sergeant. And then what was weird is like you would be playing like the game and he would be in your squad and he would die. But then he'd be in the next mission.
Yeah, so he would.
He really wouldn't like he really wasn't a character per se. Like he was just like a recognizable face. And then at the end of Halo 1, if you've beat it on Legendary, you see, he's like one of the last. He's about to die on the Halo ring with the Elite. He gives him a hug and like grabs the Elite's butt. It's like, I don't know what the hell Bungie was doing, but they were cooking. Whatever they were doing, they were cooking.
Is that like an officially licensed copy of the game that you have?
Yes.
Are you sure?
Yes.
That's bootleg.
YouTube it. It's iconic. And the ring explodes and Halo, you boot up Halo 2, first mission, there he is. Sergeant Johnson. And then
the ass saved him.
Dude, there's actually a comic that they released about how he survived. So anyway, so from Halo 2 on, like Halo 2 and Halo 3, he actually becomes like a pretty big character in the story and like a fan favorite. And he just drops like one-liners like, "Oh, I know what the ladies like." And that was actually a pretty good impression, I think. But he goes from just like, but not a nobody, but just like a standard character to like a main character in the story, and his journey with Chief. And then at the end of Halo 3, obviously, spoiler, he dies, and it's very emotional. I like it. I haven't been like, there's only been a couple of character deaths in video games where I've like gotten emotional, and that was one of them. Very sad. But anyway,
he gets absolutely dicked over.
Yeah, but he goes out a hero, of course.
Yeah, he does,
as only he should. So, got to shout out my boy Sergeant Johnson.
All right, shout out to the Johnson.
R.I.P. Big Johnson.
All right, I think if I'm keeping this in the video game court here, I got to go with one of the video games that was very important to my formative years, Final Fantasy X. I'm talking about the main character himself, right on the cover of the game, Tidus, however you want to say it. I always said Tidus, but I don't know. People might get mad at that. But Final Fantasy X was like the first game that I remember being like struck by. I think my sister and I both played it so much that our Prima strategy guide was like falling apart at the bindings, because we were just kind of ripping through
strategy guides.
But
strategy guides.
yeah, this guy's so complex with his story, like his professional blitzball career. And you find out like
what is blitzball? Sorry.
It is a sport played in a sphere of water, which I always thought was kind of weird because they don't use all of the sphere. It's really just like a flat plane that they play on. But it's basically soccer / volleyball, but floating in water.
Sounds
fair.
incredible. It sounds incredibly difficult. Okay.
Oh yeah, they had a
he's in
mini
tip-top
game.
shape.
Oh yeah,
So it's basically water polo.
yeah, but you're all in the water, like underwater. I don't understand how they breathe. There must be
is he wearing
magic stuff.
Does he have gills or something? Is he wearing scuba gear?
Nah, bro, he's just Tidus.
It's a fantasy world, dude. Final Fantasy. It's not called Final Pennsylvania.
What an awful game that would be.
Who's from Pennsylvania? I don't know who's from Pennsylvania.
But it's complex. Like he's a pro athlete, and then he suddenly wakes up in this other world. Like you learn more about him, his relationship with his dad, his relationship with the big bad evil guy named Sin, and it's a very good game. I think I only picked him because he's right on the cover of it. I'm sure I could have picked other people like Auron or Yuna, but
he's in
very good.
Kingdom Hearts, right?
He appeared as one of the kids on the first island, on Destiny Islands in Kingdom Hearts 1.
I'm going to be honest, that is the only reason I know this character. I obviously know what Final Fantasy is, but I've not played any of them. But I was just looking his character up more, and I'm like, yo, I recognize this.
Okay.
And yeah,
just like
Kingdom
a little
Hearts.
bit,
I've seen this
right?
dude.
Yeah.
I've seen this man.
seen this guy around.
But by the way,
That's
sorry. The villain is Sin. Like, is there a more on the nose bad guy name?
Oh yeah, it is very on the nose, given that the other main character, Yuna, is like a priestess, and she's got all the Aeon summons and all that.
Okay. I see what they're
I
doing.
don't know if you play through it, you'll find out.
Chop feel.
Okay.
Chop
Do I have to
feel.
play the first 9 though?
No.
Okay. Good.
All right, I'll pass the torch over. Who's next?
So I'm kind of struggling here. Like I have 2 and they're similar for video game characters, but I'm going to go Marcus Fenix of the Gears of War games.
Oh yeah.
Now, funny enough, Ryan, when you were talking about Johnson, it kept making me think about Hoffman from Gears, right? Because he's like right, was he Colonel Hoffman? Like it's just like another like stereotypical just like always like grumbling guy,
Gruff.
old, but anyway, like so Marcus Fenix got to be one of the top video game characters because he is just such a badass. I mean, all the characters in that game, aside from Carmine, are badass dudes, not only in their stature, right? But like, the art design, like everyone's arms are just like ridiculously big. But just like you know what I mean? Like when you play him in the missions, just like the stuff that you do, he's one of those, like he's a true leader. Obviously, leads by example, willing to die, for what they're fighting for, but also just freaking badass. Like, I don't know if you guys remember that game, but like curb stomping the locusts and stuff like, dude.
Satisfying.
Like 8th grade me, it was like blown away by that. But when you do that with Phoenix or you chainsaw somebody with Phoenix, like, I don't know, that's a good feeling right there.
Yeah, his voice lines, like I just loved how I just loved his voice lines. Like I impersonated him so much, like back in high school. I would like
Back
the Dom,
in
you're
high
blocking.
school? No, you still do that.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, I literally just did it. But like the Dom, you're blocking my shots. Like that is iconic. Like I would literally shoot at Dom just to like for him to say that. And then like when you would mess up like a perfect reload, he'd be like, ah shit. It was so funny. I would mess up on purpose just to hear him talk.
It is true. The other funny thing about that game too, like all of them do it, but it was like very much in that time where like they're talking into like imaginary headsets. Like, do you remember? Like he would just be like, he'd be like, okay, like, come on, guys, yeah. Just like always, like what, like who the fuck? Where's the headset? I don't even remember there being an actual headset on the character. They just like would put their hand.
It's that shitty Xbox 360 wireless thing that they're talking into.
That thing's making a comeback again. That's gonna like pop up in every one of our episodes. That damn like. But yeah, so anyway, Fenix, Marcus Fenix is up there. Great voice acting, obviously a badass, fun to play in the game. Not much more else, you can really say there other than just goated.
They kind of fleshed out his character in 4 and 5 a little bit and I'm actually blanking. I don't remember if he dies or not in the games. But anyway, I'm not gonna look that up right now. But he like his son becomes the main character in like 4 and 5. So they kind of fleshed him out a little bit in that regard, like the father-son dynamic. Like he's kind of this older, like retired soldier, and he's kind of having to come out of retirement to help his son.
I think
complete
that's
his
in
mission.
4.
That is
it?
Yeah, that is 4.
Yeah, like one of the missions is you like gotta go get him. I think you literally like pull him out of like something. I think
like his mansion,
right?
like he's like drinking or something, and like
you like pull him out of there, and you get him all suited up. Yeah,
he's like he's like all rusty and shit. He's like a broken man.
Wait, doesn't he?
Maybe
is that when he comes out with like the retro lancer, or is that?
Oh, I think so. I think so.
I don't know. I could be totally screwing this up.
4 was his son.
I did not play a lot of Gears of War, I guess. I think I stopped after 2. I think that's what it was.
First, I mean, actually 4 is good too. Honestly, like they're all good games. It's just like we didn't play them as much. We didn't play like 4 and 5. We barely played. It
became a dated. It was like very ahead of its time, and then like suddenly became like a dated, like kind of play style because it's very gimmicky on like basically like snapping off of cover. Like it's really kind of like cheap, to be honest. But regardless, great characters, good times.
For sure.
Ryan, what do you got?
Good times.
Good times.
All right,
Johnson.
So I'm going to choose a character from one of my favorite trilogies of all time, and that is Garrus from Mass Effect. He's one of the aliens you recruit to your squad, and I was thinking, I was trying to brainstorm characters, and I couldn't think of many, but Garrus is one of the ones like that just pops out to me because he just was such like a cool and calm and collected individual, and like he was basically your boy in the games. Depending on if you let him live or not, or not let him live, but if like in the games, like in Mass Effect, you can basically determine who lives and dies depending on your decisions you make, and sometimes you make decisions and you don't realize the repercussions of them. And like I was rewatching like cutscenes, and they're like Garrus can die in so many different ways, and not all of them are glorious or cool in any way, which is a shame, but. He's just like he's sarcastic. He's just like he's not even quiet, but he's just like a badass without really like. He just has that aura about him. And his voice actor does a great job. Like he just sounds cool. Like
he's like the John Wick of space, really.
Ooh, that is an accolade. That is an accolade right there.
It's a great comparison. Although he says a lot more. Like he's very. He's like a wordsmith. He's got a way with words. Some of the dialogue between him and your character are just or Shepard are really good. And so if you let him live, and he just becomes your boy like to the end, like to the very last cutscene in Mass Effect 3.
He's sweet.
Gotta shout out Garrus. I will say that I've replayed Mass Effect 2 and 3 like 2 or 3 times, I think 3 times, and then, or in one of them, I know Garrus died, and I was very disappointed. It was a mission where like we were trying to escape, and he was like, "I'll hold the line," which was one of the cool ways he dies. He just like basically holds off the enemy and then gets killed by like gunfire. I was like, damn, he went down a hero. So, all right,
for the homie.
Pour one out for the homie, but only if you play through the game and he dies. If he doesn't, then he's alive and well. So.
I didn't know that. To be honest with you, of all the gaming I've done, I've not played a minute of any Mass Effect game.
It's arguably,
which I should.
It's up there with like the greatest like third person RPG or just RPG in general of all time, like the trilogy. Especially 2. 2 is really good.
Which is the one that was getting flamed? Is it how do you say it? Is it Andromeda or
Andromeda, yeah. I don't really acknowledge that. That was the one where like people were shitting on it because of like the facial animations.
Yeah, their eyes were like bugging out. They were like popping out of their heads.
I forgot about that.
Apparently they patched it and it like looks a lot better now. But
okay, well, fair enough. Like every game.
That was like the first game though that came out like a few years ago. It was like it like started the trend of games coming out broken or like.
What a great trend to
issues.
Start.
Trendsetter. Mass Effect Andromeda.
Oh man.
All right. So I'm gonna move into the TV sphere here.
Oh, good. Okay.
I think one of the co-hosts on this podcast is gonna absolutely freak, because I'm talking about Son Goku from Dragon Ball, Dragon Ball Z, and the like.
Oh yeah.
I also took one line of notes for this guy, and it is the word icon, and that's it.
He is iconic. Like,
I mean, what more can you argue for Goku, man? Goku versus Vegeta in the Saiyan saga, Dragon Ball Z, all his badassery for the rest of Dragon Ball Z, everything in the prequel for just straight up Dragon Ball. It's all very good. He's so very very strong.
Oh, he's a strong man. But we should like enlighten Chris a little bit because Chris, have you watched a single second of Dragon Ball?
Yeah. The interesting thing about Dragon Ball is like, wait, do they still make it?
Yeah, they're making. Well, the manga still is a thing. They're all on Dragon Ball Super, which is a sequel to Z.
Because it's been around forever. Like, so to answer your question, I've seen Dragon Ball Z. Gosh, when I probably in elementary school at some point.
Yeah, it pops up on Toonami, right?
Yeah, but I to be honest, like back then I never got into it. But I know, but there's kind of like an example, right? Like you said, Icon, and like this is a show or like an IP that I like don't even really associate with, and I still know who Goku is, right? And like I could, I could pick him out of a lineup, and I know exactly what he looks like. So, for that sake, I think it got to be some importance there if I know who it is and I don't even watch the show.
Yeah, and he's in Fortnite, so he's cool.
Well, exactly. Well, you know what? That's kind of what's interesting, though, is I'm sure there's a generation of kids that are going to know about Goku and probably just a lot of characters in general from Fortnite.
Yeah,
for
sure.
That is kind of a scary thought, though.
Yeah, it is. It's sad, honestly. It hurts my heart and my soul. But what makes Goku so awesome, and I if you've seen the show, you know this, or maybe not, but he was sent to Earth as a child to wipe out humanity. And then he hits his head and forgets everything. And then Grandpa Gohan takes him and just raises him to be this kind-hearted, carefree boy who becomes like Earth's greatest hero. And it's just such a cool story. And that was like the first of its kind to like do something like that when that first came out. But I just love Goku's like carefree attitude, and he's a goofball, but when he wants to be badass, he is fucking badass. Like he is
100%.
Legendary fights with Frieza, Cell, Majin Buu, all those bad guys, but he's also just a major goofball. And I hate when people were like, he's a bad dad. He's not a bad dad. Like, come on. I mean, he just
even when he beefs it, he comes back to talk to his sons, right?
Although I will say, like, at the end of Z, he basically like abandons his family to train Oob, like that kid that he fights in the tournament, and they just and he goes like he will go years without like seeing like some of his friends like Bulma and Krillin and all them. They're like, oh, we haven't seen you in 5 years. Like, you can fly, you can instant transmission whenever you want to see them.
Yeah, not a great not a great look on Goku there. You're right.
No, but he just can't stop. He just wants to get stronger, and he wants to, he's got to protect the world because there's always someone stronger out there trying to destroy it.
I'm gonna be honest here. Derek knew what he was getting into when he said that. That's like you just like pressed Ryan's exact button.
We could do a whole episode on Goku. Like, I have his Funko Pop back here. See somewhere else? Like, he's over there. This, like the Starry Night looking painting. Like, that's him doing the Kamehameha wave against Vegeta. So
very good.
Oh yeah.
Wait, that's not a Starry Night painting? I literally thought that's what that was this whole time.
Well, we got Goku doing the Kamehameha against Vegeta, and then the sun and stars are Dragon Balls. So
because of course they are.
Yeah,
of course.
I got it on Amazon.
That is my pick for my character. I'm gonna pass it on before we make the rest of the episode about this spiky-haired man.
I'm gonna circle back to the movies real quick, and I don't think we can talk about iconic movie characters without talking about none other than Tony Montana of Scarface. Al Pacino's. Oh, gosh, I don't know. Can you say it? You can't even say it's his best role because the guy's had so many good roles. But so I think what's interesting about Scarface is you are like Tony Montana, should I say, the character is you're like simultaneously rooting for him, but also like against him, right? Because you're actively watching him achieve what he wanted the whole time, but you're seeing that it's really what is like also destroying him. So you just kind of watch that demise. But also on a more shallow note, just kind of like, I kind of love the vibe there, right? Like, doesn't give a shit what anyone thinks. Like, basically, right? Like, we'll just kill people, curse them out, whatever. Like, he's just kind of doing his thing. Like, the vibes are pretty immaculate with Tony Montana until, of course, they're not. But yeah, I mean, I don't know. There's not a stronger personality character that I can even think of in like really any movie.
No, he's a wild card for sure.
Yeah.
Hey, Ryan.
Yeah.
Can I take you aside over here for a second, just real quick?
Oh. Yeah.
This is where he says,
"I've never seen Scarface. Have you?"
Oh, no, dude. All right. Well, while we're on that topic,
so you have seen Scarface?
I have seen most of it, or I've seen half of it, maybe. I've seen like the shootout scene at the end.
Back over there.
I've seen like
So you see the ends of a lot of these movies.
Yeah, there's a weird theme here where you just catch great movies at the end. Well,
yeah, I just get the payoff. I don't get the payoff even because I'm not there for the build up.
I mean,
so I just get...
you know the iconic scene, like, like say hello to my little friend, like that, right? But the whole build up to that is, he starts out poor, right? And like he's just trying to hustle his way to the top, and he succeeds in doing that. But that is exactly what turns out, like I said, to be his demise without, getting into the specifics. But again, just another character that's got some very quotable lines, really doesn't give a shit about what anybody thinks. And not for nothing, but he's got pretty good style.
He does have good style.
Pretty good style. Yeah.
The parts I've seen, he looks well dressed. Yes.
Yeah. So
Al Pacino just has so much range. I appreciate him.
He does. He does. So that's my next pick. I don't know. I can't believe either of you have not seen that movie through and through. And I mean, gosh, I've seen it so many times.
Yeah.
I think we need to get, instead of watching all this Dragon Ball, you need to watch like some cinematic masterpieces. Instead of going to see Barbie, Ryan.
Listen,
skip Barbie, go watch Scarface.
That is going to be a cinematic masterpiece when it releases. And are you trying to say Puss in Boots 2: The Last Wish isn't a cinematic masterpiece?
That's exactly what I'm like. That's like, you can see that, but you can't see that and have not seen like some of these other movies we're talking about.
Oh, the list of movies that I've seen compared to the classics, it would make you cry.
Not good.
It's not
good.
great.
Yeah.
It's not great.
I know.
Yeah.
I'm aware.
All
But all right, I'll pass the mic. The mic.
So my character is Puss from Puss. I'm just kidding.
Because of course it is.
although he is cool. But the character I'm choosing, I think, and he's relatively new. But I think he's one of the best characters to come out in like the last 15, 20 years. And that is Benoit Blanc from Knives Out and Glass Onion. The detective, Daniel Craig, plays him, and he is so funny, so good. Have you guys seen Knives Out or
I've seen
Glass
neither
Onion?
of these films.
Oh my god.
Yeah,
All right,
so tell me. So, all right, so I've seen. Gosh, this is bad, but I know there's like a TikTok. Did you see the TikTok trend of like Daniel Craig? Like, doesn't he walk into a room like dancing at one point or something? It's something from Knives Out, but essentially, I know this movie via TikTok.
Interesting. Okay.
Or is it a movie, or what is it? Is it a show?
It's a movie. It's a movie. I don't recall a scene where he's dancing.
Okay, I just looked it up.
Dude,
are you seeing what I'm talking about?
I gotta find this.
But yeah, I've seen neither of these films.
Okay. Well, all right. We'll add that to the list that we have somewhere. But Daniel Craig just like owns his character. He puts on like this really goofy accent for him, which it just adds to his character. But he comes off as like this kind of like bumbling idiot, but he is an excellent detective and incredibly intelligent. He'll basically just like go through the movie just being like kind of a goofball, and like he puts off like he presents himself as being dumber than he actually is until like at the end, and he puts everything together, and you're like, oh my god, he's
intelligent.
He's like he's basically Sherlock Holmes.
Man, damn it! I was literally gonna say that.
Yeah, but if Sherlock Holmes were goofy and had a crazy accent,
He's Robert Downey vibes.
I was thinking Benedict Cumberbatch, but you know, whatever.
Oh, okay, all right.
you just wanted to say Cumberbatch. Well,
I won't.
I've not seen this movie. I'm looking at it now, and I mean, listen, I like Daniel Craig. Is it so? It's just like a mystery vibe thing.
Yeah. So the movies. I mean, Knives Out's great. It's like almost like it's like a whodunit, like a Clue sort of.
Oh,
movie,
I like those movies
where there's a crime, and then you're figuring out throughout the movie like who committed the crime. And
Daniel
Craig is like Benoit Blanc is basically the detective that gets hired to come in and figure the whole thing out. And his interactions with all the actors, specifically Ana de Armas. Shout out Ana de Armas.
Shout out Jamie Lee Curtis.
Yes.
She's in this movie.
It's a stacked cast. Really, it is.
Michael Shannon, like wow,
yeah.
This is kind of
Chris
an
Evans.
Interesting crew. Yeah.
Dude, no, definitely if you're looking for just like a fun movie to watch, you know, one of these nights, definitely put that on. And then Glass Onion, the sequel, is on Netflix. And it's as good, if not better, than Knives Out. Yeah, it's great.
Glass Onion. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
For my character, do you want me to go video game, TV, or movie? I'll let you pick the poison here.
Oh man. So we've done. I think we can either do show or game because we've done a lot of movies so far.
All right. Three for TV
games,
shows, I'm gonna go JD or Dr. Cox from Scrubs. So Zach Braff or John C. McGinley. I couldn't really pick between the two of them, but Scrubs was the first show that I kind of binge watched during the pandemic, and it, you know, obviously it's got its emotional episodes, but I think that, you know, it kind of just hit me at the right time. And I think what I appreciate about their characters is that, yes, they're doctors with, you know, very important jobs, but they're also humans that are, you know, very flawed individuals. They got shit going on outside of work.
Yeah, yeah. It's nice to see like characters that like, they humanize like the professions that they're portraying. So I could agree with you on that. I think I've seen a bit of Scrubs, but I've not actually like fully jumped into the show. Like, is it a drama? Is it a comedy? Like, it feels like, I don't know. I don't even, how would you peg it?
I'd peg it like maybe 70-30 comedy drama. Okay. It's primarily a comedy, in my opinion.
It's comedy drama. It's literally the genre is comedy drama.
Yeah, see, I was going to call it a dramedy, but I thought that would put more emphasis on the drama.
A crama.
And comedama is not, that's not great.
A crama.
Comedama. I actually like that. That you should patent that.
All right, so how do we feel about hitting a lightning round here, just to close out some of these? I've got a kind of bigger list. I think you guys both too.
Yeah.
Sure. Yeah.
Go for it.
Who wants to go first?
Do we want to go person by person, or do we want to go around the horn here?
I think we can probably. We'll just go around the horn. So we're going to sum up the ones that we've picked.
Oh, I've got ones I haven't even mentioned.
Yeah, well, lightning round. We want to name like just name drop ones that we haven't mentioned.
Oh,
yet.
gotcha.
Right.
All right, but we're not even going to really like explain it too much.
No, we don't have to.
All right, you guys start first.
All right.
Well, so I'm going to go Kratos from God of War. Makes sense, right?
Yeah, for sure. But not having played God of War, honestly, I agree. But anyway, let's go with Deadpool. From Deadpool.
Right.
Deadpool from Deadpool.
Deadpool from Deadpool. For obvious reasons, Ryan Reynolds destroys that, like, just owns that role, and
it's sweet,
amazing.
All right, I'm gonna go. This is kind of a cop out, but Rocky Balboa.
Ooh,
Adrian.
How did we not? How did somebody not say him? But I mean, for obvious reasons, the guy's name is the title of the movie, and as we found out through this episode, I have a thing for that.
Dude, why say Rocky when you can say Big Daddy?
Big Daddy.
I'm gonna go Beatrix Kiddo, Uma Thurman's character from Kill Bill.
Yeah, good shout out.
Thank you.
Love a good revenge tale.
Yeah, she's
her and John Wick should fight.
I don't know how that would go.
Yeah, I don't know.
Be great. I will go into the realm of video games and throw out Nathan Drake from the Uncharted series. He's just like classic, charismatic, ladies' man, badass, smart, attractive dude. And he does it really well. And he's also very good at parkour. He can scale any wall.
All right, I got one. It's a 2-for-1 special here. This is game and TV show. We're going to go Joel from The Last of Us, right?
Ooh,
also known as Daddy. But yeah, for obvious reasons. I mean, a great adaptation, right? Brought it to the screen, and likable guy, protective, fatherly, obviously has his flaws, kills zombies. Pretty much my guy.
What more can you ask for?
Yeah.
I'm going to go with GLaDOS from Portal. I think that, this is the unhinged homicidal AI that kind of narrates most of your time in Portal, and super well-written lines, very witty.
Sounds like a winner. You said zombies, which made me immediately think of Tallahassee from Zombieland.
Nice. Nice.
Woody Harrelson's awesome.
Yeah, love it.
His only motivation is to get a Twinkie. Who can't relate to that? So
true.
Yeah, badass Woody Harrelson killing zombies. That's all I gotta say.
I'm kind of like mopping up some of the ones that we left behind that I think should be said. James Bond, regardless of which actor. But the character, James Bond, obviously super iconic. Who didn't grow up wanting to be James Bond, right? So we'll leave it at that.
Right. All right. How about one last pass through? What do you think?
All right.
Yeah, that's good
Cool with
me.
that.
Maybe I should pick my favorite out of this list here. I don't know if that's out of what's remaining. I'm gonna go Galadriel from Lord of the Rings.
Okay.
Don't care if you're giving me Cate Blanchett or Morpeth Clark. I'm cool with either one. Galadriel, top tier badass.
Agreed. She's great. Oh God. I guess. Well, sticking with Lord of the Rings, I can say Gollum. I had him written down because he's just like he's kind of
iconic.
He is iconic. The precious. I think I do a pretty good Gollum impression. But yeah, he's kind of a tragic character, and basically he was just this normal dude and got a hold of the ring, and it poisoned his mind, and now he's a slave to it. So, he's just kind of a tragic character. He's not just like a bad guy. So, shout out Gollum.
My final pick will be Captain Price from Call of Duty. Who does not love a British badass with an MP5 and a goddamn mustache to go along with it?
And a cigar, right?
And a cigar, right? Yeah, there you go. Stogie. Yeah, like pretty badass, right? It's like pouring rain. Like they're like, whatever on like some op, and like he's just smoking a fat cigar. And he just throws the gas mask on.
Dude, side note, like whenever like there's some people that just make me want to smoke a cigar, and like Captain Price is one of those characters.
Captain Price, he's that guy. He's our guy. He's our guy.
Our dude. Okay.
All right. Hey, I feel good about the list.
Yeah, I think the solid list. It's got variety. It's not just like the Mount Rushmore characters. Like there's some. I mean, we got fucking Big Daddy from Kick-Ass in here. Like I'm just gonna harp on that. Like we have Big Daddy from Kick-Ass on this list. Yeah, good job, gentlemen.
I feel good about it. I think it's a respectable list, and if any of the listeners have anything to say about it, we'll see you in the comments.
All right, so that is the episode, but something that we did want to try out here is kind of a little recurring segment. So here at 5 o'clock Sweats, we're all about, what we do at 5 o'clock once work is done. So fellas, I wanted to know this week, what are you looking forward to doing after work once 5 o'clock hits?
Yeah, I can go first. So me and my one of my friends from Pickleball, we signed up for a league that's running for, I believe, 8 weeks starting this Tuesday, and I will be doing that at 6 o'clock on Tuesday. So I'm really excited, and it'll be like my first I guess formal pickleball organized thing. So I'm pretty excited for it, and I'm ready to test my skills because I've been playing a lot for the last few months. And yeah, we'll see how it goes. So I'll keep you guys updated on my progress every week. I think that'll be a fun little thing.
There you go. I think that's something that I want to try to get into, but I also don't like to move, so that's part of the problem. No, I'm just kidding. For me, I think a lot of my time after 5 o'clock is trying to wind down, so I'm going to try to hit a nostalgia note. From what the internet is telling me, apparently a lot of the servers for the old Call of Duty games, like World at War, Black Ops 2, etc., apparently those servers have been put back online or fixed, so there's like a healthy player base. So I might rummage through, the old game collection and see if I can tap into some of those, see what's up there.
Hell
yeah.
Yeah.
That warms my heart to see old games get restored like that. Like, that's so cool. Also, good use of the word rummage.
Rummage. I don't do it often, but when I do, I rummage pretty hard.
All right, Big D.
And on my end, I'm excited for Daniel Ricciardo to be back on the grid. I'm a Formula One fan, and he has been the third driver for Red Bull after taking, 6 months off after leaving McLaren. He will be replacing Nick DeVries at AlphaTauri back in the Red Bull family. So it'll be nice to see our a second Australian on the grid.
Didn't he start with Red Bull?
Yeah, that's where he got most of his success from.
Right. Then went to McLaren.
Yep. Well, he went to Renault after that, one of the French teams, who's now Alpine. And then after that, he went to McLaren. And that car was just apparently a nightmare to drive. And he got the axe, got replaced by another Australian, faster, younger Australian. Went back to Red Bull, isn't one of the 2 drivers on the grid. But then someone at their junior team got fired. So now he's back.
Because their big guy is Verstappen, right?
Yep. Big old
That's what I thought. All right. Yeah, I'm a little in there. I dabble.
This man knows what he's talking about.
I'm F1 illiterate, so yeah, I got to watch the documentary.
All right, gents, I think we're good. Derick, you want to break us down here?
Oh, yeah. So we talked about a lot of characters here today. Movies, TV, video games. Hopefully we are 3 of your favorite characters. You can catch us on YouTube. You can catch us on Instagram or Twitter at 5 o'clock sweats over there. We're on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and wherever you get your podcasts, probably. Anything else I'm forgetting, boys?
I think you're good. We got it.
All right, cool. All right. I'm gonna count down. It's gonna be 3, 2, 1, and then we'll point, and it's stay sweaty.
Okay.
Are we ready?
So wait, we're pointing at 1.
No, we're 3, 2, 1, stay sweaty.
Point. Okay. All right, I got it.
You know, the normal countdout.
Yeah, okay.
Because NASA isn't like 3, 2, 1. They wait.
Good point.
Ready?
Yeah,
3.
I think so.
2, 1. Stay sweaty.
Stay sweaty. Ooh.
We'll get there.
Yeah.
How does he screw it up every time?
Me? You were late.
No, you were late.
Let's let the listeners decide. Comment down below who was late. Who pointed last and who said get sweaty last or stay sweaty last? What was it? Stay sweaty? Yeah.
You didn't even know your line. He's coming at me. I don't even know the line.
All right, bye.
All right, love you. Johnson.
My name Jeff.
My name is Jeff.
My name Jeff.
All right.